What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Nothing, man. Just got finished training, coaching, so yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Obviously, me and you know each other a lot,
Right.
so but I, you have a very interesting like story, I guess, working
Right.
with so many different people. But just how did you first get into throwing?
So I first started throwing. I played rugby growing up. I was pretty good. So it's my second to last season of rugby. I tore my ACL,
Okay.
and I had been doing track the summer before. Funny reason, the reason I got into track, I was chasing a girl, right?
Nice.
She ran the 800, so signed up for track. I didn't really want to do it. Never really done it before. It's kind of out of shape. And the coach was like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to run around the 4 and the 800." She was like, "Okay, yeah, we could do that." And I was a little bigger. I probably couldn't run it. So I came out to practice. I got smoked. I couldn't handle it at all. And I stopped coming. And then the first meet was like 3 weeks out. And she was like, "Yeah, I haven't been coming to practice. Like, what are you going to do at the meet?" It's like the night before or the practice before.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't know." So, okay, I'll put you in 5 events. She put me in the 100 long jump, shot put, 400. It's middle school. So put me in the 400.
Okay.
Forgot what the fifth was. I don't know. I think it was high jump or something like that. It just
Yeah.
wasn't good. So around the 100, it wasn't that bad. 400, I remember I sprinted out the corner, couldn't finish it. I think I ended up coming third, but it was a really low quality meet. No one was
Yeah.
that good. But I died. And then I had the shot put after that. And I had never even thrown it at practice before. Like, so teach me how to do it, like making me like pump it and
Yeah.
stuff, how I usually do it. And then I forgot what I threw. I think I threw like 11 meters something and I won it. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm good at this.
Yeah.
And then I started coming to practice every day, kept going, kept going, kept going. My throws went down. And there's this kid called John Goodridge. He used to throw the shot with me as well. And the way regionals works there at private schools, they just kind of pick
This is in
everybody.
the
Like
UK.
this in the UK, back home in the UK. So the way things work there, everyone in the private school in that region, they have to pick a few people who can go. You have to get picked by the coach. He claimed the coach wouldn't pick me. I was better than him. I don't know what was wrong in my mind. I was eighth grade. Claimed the coach wouldn't pick me, and I was thinking, man, screw this. Like, I'm gonna beat this kid. Like, I don't think he throws as far as me. Don't even remember. I wasn't paying attention to him. So I was like, man. So I started like doing push-ups every day, like really, really grinding on it. And then I went to go sign up with a club. This is like maybe 3 or 2 weeks out from the regional meet.
Mhm.
Signed up with a coach. I was like still shuffling. Threw with him for a little bit. Learned how to glide. Went to the regional meet. I threw 12:45 and I won it. So I was like, okay, I'm staying in it. I'm doing this. I threw discus as well a little bit. Like I think I threw 31 meters. I was really bad at it. Still bad at it. I hate the disc. But yeah, that's really how I got into track. It was try to chase that girl, that John Goodridge kid really getting on my nerves, and then train for it, won the regional meet. That's what I wanted to do. So then the next year in November, I was playing rugby. I was playing on the under 18 squad when I was 14. And first game was great. Second game, we're playing on turf. And I forgot what club we were playing against. I played rugby. I was really decent. My coach, Zinzan Brook, all black, Hall of Fame rugby player in my position. He pushed me really well. I really wanted to play rugby all growing up. That's all I really cared about. And we're playing. There's this kid. He was probably about 6'2", 250 in ninth grade. And I'm just hit my growth spurt. I'm like 170, maybe 180,
Yeah.
all like skin and bones, lanky all over the place. So we kick it off to him. He catches it, runs through the scores. All my teammates are small. I'm way bigger than the kids. So they're looking at me like, you're the guy that got to stop him.
Yeah.
So then we kick it off to again. He scores. So I'm like, hey, kicker, don't kick it to him. Don't kick it to him at all. Kick it to him again the third time.
Yeah.
He gets it. Luckily, I managed to tackle him and stop it. It was like a 3-on-1 tackle. He got him down. So he had the ruck. We had a few phases. They turned over the ball. I think they knocked it on. We got a scrum. We got it out. We had the ball. So then we had a play where, hopefully I don't make the tackle. I will come into the back line. There's in rugby at forwards and backs. I was in the back line. I was second one down. So the scrum half passed it to me. Look right across. That kid, by the way, played inside center, which is a bigger back, but he really should have been in the forwards. But he could just manhandle anybody. So I think they just want to give him the ball so he could run and score.
Yeah.
I'm matched up against him now because, I'm in the inside center spot on the line. I catch the ball. I'm running towards him. He's running towards me full force. It must have been like 30 meters. It was a big space. I'm running full speed. And in my mind, I'm like, I should probably slow down so the kid doesn't just knock the life out of me. Trying to be a hero. I accelerated. He accelerated. He hit me so hard. So hard. Concussion, torn ACL.
Oh no.
He knocked me clean out, like worst concussion. I've had 4 concussions. That was my worst one. Fourth and my last one. Knocked me clean out. I come to. Don't even realize my knee's all torn up. I stand up, bite the dust. My knee's done. So I was in a lot of pain. Sat out the game. I actually went home. Like my mom didn't think it was anything that serious. I was going to the fridge trying to get a drink, like limping. Put some weight on it. It gave out on me again. So she's just like, oh, it must be something really wrong. So I had a torn ACL. I went to the hospital. Ended up getting surgery for it. It was like a 3-month prehab, 12 months of rehab. And then I had seen IMG Academy. My older brother, he's really good at basketball. Really good at basketball. He was getting recruited by IMG. He was, he played for the under 16 British team and the under 18 British team really well. He's getting recruited by IMG. He didn't want to go. My mom saw it and like, look, they got a really good rehab facility. You should go there for a week and try and get some rehab and get some training in. I'm about 10 months post recovery now. So I was starting to throw a little bit, just wasn't really going all the way in. I was still kind of watching my knee. So I flew there, did a week with Kibwe. Went really well. Like I only did stand throws and wine and release hammer throws. At that point, I couldn't do any hammer turns. My PRs were like 12:45 in the shot from the year before. Discus was like 31 meters with like the 1.25. Hammer was, I think it was like 29.50 with the 4K wine and release. So threw shot with him, threw disc with him. One of the days, you go try hammer, and I was like, yeah, we could try hammer. And my knee is still busted, so we didn't want to do any turns, so we just wine and release it again. And it was pretty good. Like we worked for 3 days straight on a wine and release. I ended up like adding like 5 meters to it. And he's like, man, I think you could be really good. You have the build for it. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I want to be a shot putter. That's what I want to do. I was really big into watching like Jacko Gill, David Storrell. I didn't even know Alterman was at the time, but a lot of shot putters. I want to be a shot putter. Like the Jacko Gill, like Chili Man series. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where he's like doing all these crazy numbers and stuff. I never even heard of the hammer. Like I'd heard about it. I never really heard of like good hammer throwers. Never really seen a good hammer thrower. Funnily enough, on my club, Jake Norris at LSU, he was there. Bailey Campbell at Oklahoma, he was there. Never trained with them because they worked with a separate coach. I was in the real beginning stages where we did kind of all the events. And yeah, so he was like, yeah, I think this is your event. Like, I'd really want you to stay for another week. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll stay for another week. We can do it. Stay for another week. Ended up getting sent home. Really liked it. They said, like, hey, really want you to come next year. School was super expensive. My parents, they ballsed up and they paid for it. There was some financial aid help too, but it was still a lot of money. I went to private school in the UK. I grew up decently wealthy, but that still was a lot of money. So went there for a year, finished my knee rehab, still was working with the rehab on that, training. Funnily enough, my first couple months working there, I did everything with the sprinters. And I was like, why am I doing this with the sprinters? Bearing in mind, I was the only thrower there. There was one thrower. There was all sprinters and jumpers. So I'm thinking like, oh, is he being lazy? Like, why am I not throwing? It's October, November. I haven't taken a throw yet. And he was like, no, just trust me. Like all this explosive sprint stuff's really going to help you in the end. So we did the sprints, started throwing again. Nothing really crazy happened until, we had Christmas. I was throwing like 50 meters maybe with a 5K at that point. And then my first meet came up was at this middle school, Brookside Middle School. I threw 60. I had never thrown really far over 50. My practice PR was like 50, maybe I threw 48, 45 most of the time. Randomly, like the stars aligned, I threw 60. It's still on my Instagram. You can see it. Yeah. 360. It was really ugly looking back on it. Like huge step up. Honestly, that's still parts of that throw that's better than my throw now. It was like super flat, super pretty. But yeah, I threw 60 and I was like, okay, I guess I'm good. Like I think that put me top 5 in the US high schools. I think it was like me, Kyle Moisen, someone else, Trey Knight. Yeah. Remember he could throw 78. So yeah, that was really my upbringing in the hammer. That was like the year where I realized, like, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to be good. Shot put went better too. I think I threw like 14 meters. Disc was really bad. I think I was throwing 39. But yeah, that's kind of my upbringing. Right when at that meet, that's when I realized, okay, this is what I want to do seriously. Like I want to do it. And then luckily the next year I got a whole lot more aid from the school to go there for a lot cheaper. So it ended up being cheaper than my private school. So that's why I was able to stay there for the next 2 years. Because the first thing in mind was like, okay, you're going there for a year. Let's get really good. Use up all the resources you can. Like main thing was to get more rehab on my knee, get really set, move back home, finish off Ritter School, and see what you do from there. But they helped out with the money. It ended up working out. I really loved it there. So that's why I ended up staying there the last couple of years.
Heck yeah. No, so you went, like, what grade were you in when you, like, first came to IMG?
Sophomore year. So I got injured 8th grade. No. I got injured beginning of 9th. Oh, okay. And then I went sophomore year. Okay. So the summer of 9th, I did my camp, stayed for a little bit, came sophomore year.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Now, like, obviously, Kibwe is, like, definitely a character. Like, we saw the Instagram, these long... all of it. So, yeah, how was it just training with someone like that? Especially being, like, probably your first coach in hammer, really?
Crazy, man. Like, looking back on it, it's kind of funny. Like, a lot of people, They think it's really weird what he does, and it's very different from what most people talk about. But to me, it was normal. I guess it's how everyone learns. Like I mean, the main things we learned from the first day, doing turns on the mat when I first got there for school. Turns on the mat, all we did was like right hand turns and just push the ball, push the ball, push the ball, push the ball. Like the kid I was coaching today, that's what I did. The same kind of series. Like it was like walk the dog, a little static turn, then just a whole bunch of right hand turns. And funnily enough, I think for the first month or two we were throwing hammer, like in November, we only did right hand turns and throws. Wow. And I thought that was normal. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was normal. I thought everything was normal. Like everyone does like that. It turns out not everybody does like that. And I think it's a better way to go about it, because one thing that I've done really well my whole career is I've been able to like push the ball. Like Yosh even talks about it with, once the ball's in a spot, I can push the ball directly to the sector every time. It's all the other stuff that has caused me issues that I've had to fix. But it was that, and we threw very heavy from an early start. So it was the right hand turns, and once we got a little better at that, we did sling and 35-pound weight throws. And I'm 15 turning 16. That's a really heavy ball. They'll go 8 meters. So they have a hammer ring and a discus ring. I'll have to throw them out the discus ring so I don't hit the concrete. Funnily enough, we're throwing like a really nice Planet outdoor weight. It's like $300, and they were like banging off the concrete, hitting the cage. I was really messing it up. And yeah, we just sling them one like that, just push the ball, push the ball, push the ball. Eventually we got to 2 with the weight. And then after that, we started taking real full hammer throws. And I really just progressed from there, like the same things. Like he has a lot of funny cues. I remember like the first cue that kind of blew my mind. I was like, maybe this guy's like a little different, a little weird, was like, put yourself in the ball and imagine you're riding around with the ball. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? Because I'm trying to stay on my feet. Like I'm just purely trying to stay on my feet, and he's trying to make me put myself in the ball. And it kind of blew my mind. And he was like such a interesting character. We had this thing, it was called winner's language. So like at the beginning of the year, every year we had like a little sheet, and we wrote our marks, all goal setting stuff. But we wrote like what we want to be and how we're going to do it, as if we were doing it now. And it was just like, I will throw 30 meters. I will throw 60 meters. I will do this. I will do that. Even like academic goals, like you're saying in your mind, I've already done it and I will do it. Let's just do it. And a lot of that stuff stays, like I don't have any negative language with myself that like, even though I have bad sessions, I'll get in my head about it. But like, I know in my mind, like I've done it before. I just got to keep doing it. And it's like, I will do it. Not like, I never say like, oh man, I can't do it. Like I might catch myself saying that now that I got older, but it's just like, I haven't done it yet. I will do it. So it's a lot of stuff like that. And he's just such a great mentor, great guy, great dad. He's just very good to me. Very good to me. He would text me down all night, talk about my throw, and it was just super fascinating to me. And at that point, like, it's funny, I didn't really know who he was. I thought he was just a coach, and like he threw pro, but like I thought he was just a hammer thrower, nothing that special, like a U.S. hammer thrower Olympian. That's great. But I didn't realize, he's the combo world record holder. I think he still is. So like he has the highest weight throw, discus, and hammer throw like for one athlete. So it's like 25, 12 in the weight, 65 some change in the disc, and 80 in the hammer. And there's no one else who's done that or got close to that. I can't think of anyone who else has that combo. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm trying to think who else have that. I don't know.
I didn't know he threw 65 meters in the disc.
Oh, you should see it. Yeah. It's not pretty. He actually was, discus was like his event in high school. That's what got him to Georgia at first. But he threw 65 with like that much left in the ring. Oh, wow. Like I'm not good at disc. I can't really tell you what he did, but he didn't take up a lot of space in the ring. But he could hit it, and he was such a good athlete. Like just supreme athlete, like throwing the weight far like he did, just super tapped in. He also ran 10.9 in the 100 in high school. I think his story was he wanted to be a sprinter. Coming out of Georgia, he just wanted to be.
Isn't that the same thing? Martle, who was a
yeah, Martle. I mean, I don't know if he was purely a sprinter, but like you go look at his stats, he ran 10.8 the summer before he went to college. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Like honestly, disgusting. I don't know how you can do that. I mean, I'm pretty fast as well. I'm not 10.8 fast.
What'd you run in the 60 that time, man?
Oh, in high school? Yeah, I ran 7.32 at 250, 6'4". I ain't getting nowhere near that. And I've never ran out of blocks. So, like, my first time using blocks was at the cross place in Birmingham in the little tight warm-up room. Mm-hmm. And Dwight Thomas, sprints coach at IMG, was he a hurdler? I think he was actually a hurdler, but he ran on the 4x1, the Usain Bolt, in 2012. Oh, wow. The gold medal race. Yeah. No, I might have lied. I think he was the backup. Okay. But, very fast guy. Yeah. He was kind of just telling me, like, he kind of, like, spaced out my feet, like, hey, this is what you got to do. And he's just like, man, just got to push. And the first time, it just worked. And I got to the thing, and I got set up, and I was in a decent heat for whatever reason. It was like that club meet, like the Galleria games, where it's like they have the kids who are 8 years old. You were there, I think. Yeah, you were there. So a bunch of kids were there. I'm in like a decent heat with some guys who are pretty fast. And Lamont Thomas, he's like our manager or like team manager or something like that. I guess like the operations guy for IMG. Yeah. He was there. He had a buddy who had a club in Georgia. He had kids in my race, and he was like, "Oh, I got my big guy running. You can't let the big guy beat your sprinter." He's like, "Oh man, you're not gonna beat him, no way." So I ended up beating all three of them. And what was surprising about that race was like I popped up out the blocks, and I was like, "Okay, that was good. Running." They started like gaining on me, and I was thinking like, "Shoot, I gotta keep up." Yeah, I was trying to keep up. Running. I'm like, man, this race is long. I'm trying to get my knees up, and I'm getting lactic at like 40 meters. I'm like, oh shoot, keep the legs up. I ended up coming third, and I hit that back wall so hard, and I had to throw weight after that so hard. And I hit the wall. I was surprised. I actually beat some guys on my team, and the sprint coach was giving people some shit about it.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, they were upset. There's only two guys I can remember their names who were. I mean, actually, one of them, he's from back home, same town as me, small world. But I ended up running faster than they did that day, and it was cool. Then I had to go through weight. I met you there. Yeah. I threw weight, and I had some real technical issues that day. I remember I was trying to do sling, like toe and two sling, and it wasn't working. Couldn't really work it out. And then Kidway was like, "Oh, just screw it." We always had a backup technique. So like backup technique was winding two, and man, I wound it. And it came so steep, and it went below my knees. And somehow, like you were there, something happened. It was like 23:36, and I was like, "Yep, I don't know how the hell I did that." And in hindsight, I should have just stayed with the two-turn wind two-turn, but we didn't. We stayed with the sling 3, and it got good towards the end. I think I threw 80 feet with the 25 just before we left for New Balance that year, but then COVID happened. We're on the bus on the way there. It gets canceled. So I never really got to see the end of my high school weight career.
Same here.
Yeah, no, you had this exact same thing. I mean, that was going to be a big year for me, man. Like, I really figured some stuff out with the weight and the hammer. I actually lost weight my senior year. So, like, end of junior year, I was, like, 245. Indoor, I was, like, 250. Hammer was coming up. He wanted to throw far, so I decided to drop weight. I cut down, like, 220. Part of that was also like motivation, like senioritis. Wasn't eating as much as I did. I got really snappy again, and man, like towards the end there, right before, like I threw the 6K at like one session like 66 something, at another session like 68.50, at a multiple out at like 68, 67, and then it was like probably my cleanest throw of my life. The 6K was like 68 and some change. It was a beautiful throw. I didn't like technique wise with that technique with the step up. I don't think I ever matched something so clean. But then we ended up taking out the step up. Actually, I lied. I went to 4 turns that year for a little bit. It didn't really work out. So I went to this big step up. That didn't really work with 3. And then we took out the step up, and I threw 70 with a 12. And then a few weeks later, I threw 72. And I was in a really good spot to do well. COVID happened. Kind of things get bad. They ended up releasing Kidboy, and I was kind of stuck in my feelings about that. I was upset about it. Went home, took a couple weeks off because I thought they said it was going to be, long spring break, we'll be back. I didn't come back. So then after like a month, we weren't coming back. So I was like, okay, I need to find a way to throw. And luckily back home, I live on some land. So we had a field that I could use. And my mom, we went to the hardware store and we bought some planks of wood. And I had measurements set up. I forgot what the measurements of the ring are. That like I needed it to be this size. They didn't have that wood anymore. It was expensive. They were charging so much for wood. I don't know because people were like building stuff at home to use. I don't know. They didn't have that size wood, and I was like really bummed out. And Mom was just like, "Why don't we get these 2 long pieces and you just push them together?" And I was like, "How are we gonna do that?" Because they were like long rectangles, like maybe like 3 or 4 feet wide and like maybe 10 feet long. Yeah. So there's no real way. Like I didn't want to throw on one. Well, I guess like maybe could have thrown on one, but in my mind I was like, no, I don't want to fall off the ring. It was sketchy, and I had a big problem blowing out the ring too, to the side, to the front, whatever. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do this. Yeah. So for a little bit, I threw on one of them, and I was like, nah, screw this. I want the full ring. So I ended up putting them together side by side, so the break would be in the middle of my throw, so like right where I catch 2. And it was tricky, but then I got through it. And that summer, I stopped lifting because I hurt my back deadlifting for a while, so I was just throwing. And I ended up throwing, I forgot what the 5K distance was. I had this really cool block where we threw 16, 6K. I didn't have a 12 at home, so 16, 6K, 5K, and then 4K. Never had thrown a 4K for practice in school, but I threw a 4.5. I really hated it. I couldn't throw light stuff that far. So I threw 16, ended up throwing the 16. I threw 63 to 16 in high school. Never really got back up there at home. But 6K and the 5K were going really far. And ended up throwing, it was one of the days, I think it was the day that New Balance was supposed to happen. Or around about that time, I threw like a fake New Balance. Ended up throwing 71.40 out into the field. And, I was gassed about that. It was super good. So I threw that, super happy about it. And that was a 6K as well. 6K, not a 12, not a 5. That was a 6K. 5K, I think that summer went 75 and some change. And then with the 4K, I had so much fun with that. I ended up throwing an 80. And I don't know, it was a really good time. Looking back on it, I was like, a lot of development, a lot of like motivation, like not having a coach there. I was super blessed with IMG having, 5 sessions a week where there was an Olympian watching me every single throw. Weight staff were crazy good. Now I have these weights at home.
I was about to say, what was the like facility and everything else like at IMG?
So the ring, man, my favorite ring in the world is actually not there anymore. They demolished it and put a new one. They moved it because it was in the corner of the field. So if you went left sector, you would drop it on the street. Like one time, I nearly hit a golf cart, and there was this CONCACAF soccer tournament where like all like the Central American countries come, and I threw it. It was like 6K, and it went pretty far, left sector, right on the street, and there was a golf cart coming in. Nearly hit the golf cart. And these kids got mad. They started yelling at us, and they stopped the golf cart, took my hammer, and drove it off. And these are Kibway's hammers. They're not the school's. He's pissed. Oh, yeah. He's pissed. So he gets his golf cart, and he chases him down, gets the hammer back. And so I ended up moving the ring. Facility-wise, like great field, great ring. Nothing to say about that. Track was great. Weight room, second to none. Maybe second to the new weight room we've got. All Sorinex, like Alico competition bumpers with the color, like the red, blue, yellow, green. I guess it's iron grip, those like hexagon plates we used to have. Alico bars, we had the Kaiser like air pressure machines, Elite Form, blessed to have that in high school. We had reverse hypers, all the Sorinex stuff you could have wanted, dumbbells up to 150. Yeah. I mean, it's like I was strong in high school. We had those football players, like our linemen, our 2 linemen, Booker and Latham. They were there lifting as well, and they're a year or 2 younger than me. All those guys are big. And my freshman year or sophomore year, the first year I was there, they had a guy, I don't know where he went to school in the end, but he was like the Samoan kid or maybe Maori, maybe New Zealand. Never had played football before. He was like 6'10", 400.
Oh my God.
And not like a weak 6'10", 400, like all over the place, like athletic and strong, and like he had more than enough weight to throw around there. Now there was like going to IMG, like I was 6'4", 230, 240, 220. Thought I'm a big kid for high school, but going there I felt regular, like very regular. Like even like Nolan Smith, he's in the NFL now, like he was not that much bigger than me, but just since there's so many guys like that, I felt like I'm just a regular kid. There's nothing to me. Then I go to college. I'm like, oh, wait, no, I'm a lot bigger than a lot of people. I never realized that. So facilities, man, you can't complain. We had the force board that you can jump off of. They had this like visual training room where you look at the square and there's like little dots you got to press without moving your head. Wow. Working on that. I mean, we didn't use that super much. A whole bunch of different brain games. We had leadership coaches, mental coach. What was it called? Like mental coaches, like mindset and stuff. Nutrition staff that help you out. Like we could do like the bod pod. We didn't have a DEXA scan, but like bod pod. She could write you diets if you wanted that. Obviously the cafeteria, so she would like tailor it to that. I mean, in hindsight, like I didn't like the food. The food wasn't good, but in hindsight, better than most college cafeterias. It had everything you needed. Like always had great sources of protein. It's not like us where they cook you steaks and stuff, but great sources of protein. A pasta bar every day, so it was always a source of carbohydrates you needed. Wow. Crazy salad bar. Yeah, it was good. I mean, the only really bad meal was breakfast, but aside from that, we used to always hate breakfast, man. Like, breakfast is honestly awful.
Yeah. But it's tough to make breakfast for a lot of people. Like
there's like liquid eggs and stuff. It's just it's not good. It's not the same thing. So nutrition-wise, everything, and you're just so tailored to everything. Like, you were right there. Like, you were never have to drive anywhere. You're right at school. You weren't wasting time commuting places. You'd wake up, walk to school. That was like half a mile, maybe a mile. Practice was another couple 100 yards out. You were right there. You had nothing else to do. It was just training in school. And it was a half day of school as well. So you had school from 8 till 12. Senior year, you might only have 2 classes. So you had time to train. You can get 2 classes if you're already committed and you had all the credits you needed. You just needed 2. It was right there. I mean, school wasn't crazy hard. You still had homework. Study hall, like if you had a certain GPA, you needed to be in study hall for a couple hours, but it was like in your dorm, you know, to really study. But in your dorm, studying, it didn't really matter. Like you were just right there, nothing else, just focused. And I think that helped me a lot going to college because it was the same format.
I bet say that sounds exactly like what we do here.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like just a little prep school, basically.
It's like the prep school. So it's just like you're getting prepared. Like it's like I know here sometimes you end up throwing before class, going to class, eating, going to lift, or it's a little bit like, you know, you might have class, throw class, lift.
Yeah.
But like you're already in that setting of like, okay, I'm waking up and eating breakfast. I'm going to 2 or 3 classes. Then I'm eating lunch, going to go throw.
Schedule,
yeah. Then like an hour later after practice, you had weights. And then you'll come back and do study hall, very similar to what you're doing in college. So the whole setup there is just to make it like college.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what was it like? Like, could you just leave? Like, how is that?
No, it was like a prison. Like it was, you know, like you were gated in. You could sign out. You can leave once you were a sophomore. The rules changed every year.
What's the like youngest they have?
Okay, so like living there, it was 6th grade. It was middle school, but they had kids who would come and like play sports who were younger, but you couldn't live there. You needed your parents to be in town. Oh, okay. But there were campers there who were like 7, 6, all the way up to 8.
But like actually staying in there,
staying in the dormitories. Yeah, so they tended to stay in the girls' dorm. So it was like 3 dorms. Well, 2 dorms my first year, 3 the last 2. There was East, West, and South. I think guys were in East. Mostly guys, older guys. South was mostly younger guys. South was the biggest dorm, so like freshmen, sophomore, some juniors, some seniors from some different sports, and then West was just all girls, and then very young guys. So like those middle school guys, or when those like young kids come to camp, they'll be in there too. And it was 4 to a room, so it was pretty tight for camp. 4 to a room for a camp, so it was bunk bed, a little area to like chill, a little sink, and a shower. Yeah. But, like, in camp, you're really in there that much, so it didn't really matter. I mean, it wasn't that big. I mean, imagine, like, a college dorm, but there's 2 of you in there. But, like, you're with your buddy in high school. It's kind of like your dream. Like, you know, growing up, going to high school, like, oh, man, I don't want to leave school. I'm hanging out with my friends, hanging out after school. Just get through that every day, you know. You never want to leave growing up. You want to hang out with your friends. You have to hang out with your friends all the time. Yeah. So, like, when you're in school, there's 2 of you guys there, bunk bed, desk below, and then, like, you know, it was always the thing, like, how do you trick out your dorm? So, like, we all have, like, decorations, like, posters and LEDs and stuff. And me and my roommate senior year, Zach Blake, UNC javelin thrower now, we ended up getting one of those, like, camper chairs. It was, like, a couch. You could sit, like, 2, 3 people on there. We had that under the bed, and we had 2 Xboxes underneath. So we had my one, and we had his one, and 2 little TVs so we could play games. And, yeah, no, it was sweet. Like, growing up there, like, you know, obviously you couldn't leave. Like, leaving was a pain in the ass. Like, we ended up, senior year, you could leave, like, from 6 until 10, which is not a lot of time, but like not awful. But also, like in high school, what are you doing until 10 o'clock? Yeah. Not much, probably not. I think good. So they're trying to like protect themselves. So you couldn't really leave, and
you could hang out with people like there.
All your friends were there. Like we'll go out, like you'll go and get like snacks and stuff. Go to Walmart, but those also like not guided, like supervised Walmart trips. Like they'll take a bus, and you could go. They do that like on the hour, like shuttle.
It's like staying at a hotel on a trip.
Basically, yeah, like a little shuttle that drive you to Walmart, drive you back. But like you were there hanging out, like most people do. Like some guys lived off campus or go hang out at their place. But aside from that, you didn't be out past 10 o'clock unless there was a way like you could jump over the wall. We good. Yeah, you could jump over the wall. So there was a little wall. So like the tracks here, the main road that I threw the hammer on was there, and there's a wall. It's my apartment, so it's a really low down wall. And they had security who would like watch you leave. And when you checked out, you have to like check out with them. So you check out at your dorm, you get a slip, and you take the slip to them. And you check out. But if you wanted to stay out later, or you wanted to, or like let's say your room wasn't clean and you were, I guess like grounded. I forgot what the road was. Yeah. Like you couldn't go off campus. You want to go off campus, so you just sneak out. So you just wait till there's no cars coming. You get to the wall, there's a little bush behind the wall. You duck behind the wall of the bush, jump over the wall real quick. So yeah, you jump over the wall, lay low, and you actually land in someone's backyard. So it's like these little villas people rent out, and some people live there permanently. But yeah, you land in someone's backyard. So then you got to like cut real quick, like run, get around. And they had security guards that were in there. So you have to like really listen and make sure no one's there on the other side. Jump over the wall, run through. Once you're out, you were safe. And then the next part, the tricky part was like you got to like make sure no one was there. So you have to like jump back over and make sure no one's there, and it'd be fine. And you got caught doing that, you probably have like a 2-week suspension of like not being able to leave. But aside from that, was a way of going around it. So yeah, that was really like growing up at IMG. It was good. A great location near the beach. Like most weekends on the beach. Like during the like Saturday, Sunday. Sunday I think you had to be in a little bit earlier, but Saturdays, Sundays, you could leave all day. We didn't practice on Saturdays sometimes, like in season. If you had like a meet on like a Friday.
Yeah.
But like if not, you'd be out all day. I mean, we'll go to the beach, hang out, go eat some food. 40 minutes from Tampa, 5 minutes from the beach.
How far is it from like Miami?
Oh, you're pretty far. Like 4 hours, 5 hours. So I mean, I never really.
Oh, so it's on the would be the west.
West. So like west, Tampa Bay, Sarasota. I think St. Pete is above us. So you kind of down there. Hour from Tampa, you fly into Tampa. It was an airport, Sarasota as well, but not many flights to go there.
Yeah.
5 minutes from Holmes Beach, 15 minutes from Siesta Key, one of the nicest beaches in the world probably. So yeah, no, it was a great place to grow up. It was like a little vacation for 3 years. I mean, I miss it. It was great growing up there.
Yeah.
So what was it like COVID? Like I had the same thing happen with like the New Balance Nationals. I was literally on the way there, and then it gets canceled. You got to go all the way back to the UK.
Right.
Was it like how quick did you have to go back to the UK? Like from that news?
I don't remember the exact like days, the amount of days, but it was like New Balance got canceled. We came home, we trained for a week, and then they were like, okay, we don't think like there'll be any more meets this year. No cap. There was one outdoor meet. Then the next week they're like, yeah, I think meets are done. We're still in school and stuff. School was still happening. And then they were like, yeah, we have to cancel and close school. Everyone has to leave. And we're like, whoa, like, I was on a decent amount of money, so I wasn't paying that much. People were paying the full amount. Like, whoa, like, are we going to get a refund? Like, what's going to happen? Yeah. So they ended up not doing any refunds or anything. People were quite upset about that. And I just got sent home. It was like one day to the next. My mom said, like, hey, yeah, I think we have to bring you home. Yeah, bring you home. You're leaving in 2 days. So kind of pack up all your stuff. Actually, I didn't even pack it all up. I put it in a storage unit because we thought there might be a chance we could come back in the summer or whatever. Put it in a storage unit. I never even got it. I don't even know what happened to it.
Oh, wow.
Clothes and that TV. Well, kept the Xbox, but everything else was left there. So, yeah, then I went home. I lifted really hard for a couple of weeks because I was like, I don't want to throw. I don't have a coach. I was kind of like mad about it. Like, this is my year to be good.
That shit was depressing.
Pissed off. Like, really freaking pissed off. So then I was like training with my older brother. I kind of tweaked my back, so I couldn't really lift. I was like, I don't want to lift. So my mom's like, why aren't you throwing? Like, go throw. And I'm like, okay. Like, where do I throw? Like, how do I do this? We got the planks. We ended up throwing. My back got better, and after I was done throwing, like with Kidway, we would take a month off in the summer. Not many people would do that. Oh no, it was 6 weeks off, like no throwing. Yeah. I think his thing was rest. To training without him, he didn't want you to build any bad habits, so leave it. And like we've been throwing every day, a lot more than most high schoolers, so like stop throwing. So I lifted really hard. So from I guess it was like March until school in Arkansas, trained every day. Ended up getting from like 220, like I think when I actually stopped lifting, I was like 215, really light. 215, 220 to 250 in the summer.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, eating.
What were you doing?
Lifting. So I was doing the German volume, 10 by 10, 4 second down, 2 second up. Modified it a little bit from what the workout was from Kibwe. Yeah. Because he actually didn't give that to us. He kind of let us free. Like, okay, you've done throwing. Talk to your college coach, see what they want you to do. Yeah. He was like, oh, just lift and throw, and we'll get to work when we're there. And I was like, cool. So I kept doing that. I mean, like the workout, like Monday, it was bench and back. So I do like 10 by 10 incline bench with 10 by 10 pull-ups. And at that point, I could kind of do pull-ups. I couldn't do 10 in a row. So I'll do like, 10 until I couldn't do any more. And then I'll do a band and finish them off. Yeah. But then with some accessories and squats was, 10 by 10 back squat. Ended up turning into a hack squat because I was, for one, like not motivated to train. I hated squats. Anyway, my back was hurting. So
10 by 10 on back squats is crazy.
But 10 by 10, 4 seconds down, 2 seconds up. Yeah, that's crazy. So it's crazy. It was really hard workouts. Did that. Ended up doing that with hamstring curls. So it was like 10 by 10 with 2 exercises that are opposite sides. So it'd be like bench and pull up. So like chest and back. Yeah. Then there was like squat. It was like a narrow squat, heels elevated, 10 by 10 with seated hamstring curls. I had one of those old like Nautilus utility benches where it had like you could bench on it, but also had a hamstring and a quad extension. A little like kind of shaky thing. Did that. I think I finished it off with like there'll be accessories after, like 2 times 12 of accessories. I did like lunges, and then I forgot the other hand. Lunges and RDLs. Yeah. That's what I did. And the arm day was super fun. So then you had rest day 3, arm day, where it was like shoulders and arms. So I did like military press, 10 by 10, bicep curls, tricep extensions 10 by 10, then some random. I think I did lateral raises for the shoulder accessory, some different bicep curls, some different tricep. I think I did like diamond push-ups, something like that. Got really big off of that. Did that for a while. Then I just started like lifting for fun with my older brother. A lot of like stiff leg deadlifts, a lot of stuff. Like I ended up working to like a 600-pound stiff leg deadlift. Wow. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that stuff. I think that really got my back super strong leading into my freshman year. Like I still got a really strong back. Yeah. It's like stiff leg deads, deficit deadlifts, snatch grip deadlifts. Got my numbers up on that. Still just like bodybuilding, upper body stuff for fun. Didn't do any Olympic lifts. There was a period for like a month I just didn't do any legs. But yeah, no, like I was like 250 with no legs. I just hated squatting. I still don't like squatting. So
it'd be like that.
No, I was skipping legs, just getting swole. Got swole. Made it to Arkansas, trained with Ryan Krauser, and then, I got hit with one of the hardest training programs in the world. So,
what were you eating like over that? Like,
oh yeah, what I was eating, man, it's kind of gross. I ate the same thing every day, for so it was ground beef, rice, and eggs.
Oh gosh.
So I ate the same meal 5 times a day. The only difference was on the first meal, it had 4 eggs. Because then it was like breakfast. Yeah. So, yeah, I had like 4 eggs.
You just mix it all together?
Yeah, so I like cook the eggs like over easy, kind of runny, and then I'll like chop it up with the fork, kind of mix it together. It was kind of good by the end of it. So, yeah, then it was ground beef and rice, I ended up, it was like 300 grams of protein a day, decent amount of carbs. I was like 250 really lean. I don't think I've ever been that lean, 250. Ate the same thing every day, 5 times a day. Like, I didn't really, no real junk food or snacks. I mean, I was eating 5 times a day. I wasn't really wanting snacks. Yeah. But it was a lot of food, man. I mean, in hindsight, do I need to gain all that weight? Probably not. But it gave me something to work on. I live with my older brother, too. He plays basketball, Division I. So he wanted to gain some weight and get strong. Yeah, we got it done. I mean, eating like that got me really strong, really big. And I think that really, like, led me into my college career for, like, a really explosive, great first year.
Yeah. So, a good base, for sure.
Yeah, training. I mean, that's what I would say. Like, going to IMG gave me probably the best base training I could get.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, most kids hadn't really cleaned at all or cleaned very well. I was, cleaning and snatching pretty proficiently, very proficiently. I was used to, different types of programming, banded squats, banded benches, like up band stuff, chain stuff. Yeah. Even like contrast training with like a squat and then a plyo, all that stuff. So I was used to it. And like, it was like training with Kibwe, like it was very like Dr. B oriented with a lot of throwing, a lot of reps, and the weight room being very specified. So like snatch and quarter squats and stuff and that type of stuff. And like senior year, we had like the Judd Logan program where it was like 15 by 8 on like 5 different exercises. It would take like 3 hours. Yeah, he had some really, Judd Logan had some crazy workouts. They were not fun. Even like his peaking, like freshman year of college and all through high school, like his peaking stuff, like I think it's 10 workouts. You do 1 times 25 snatch, which sounds dumb, but it's a cluster. So it's, I think it's you do 5, wait 25 seconds, do another 5 at like 50%. Yeah. And then you'd apply that with like a box jump and you do that same workout for 10 days straight. Well, I think with like a break in, I think like 2 stop, 2 stop. So 10 workouts like that, as well as like leading into meets, I'd only throw heavy. So like, yeah, if like the weight, I'll just throw the 35. The first time I'll throw 25 is like the day of the meet. Oh, wow. Sometimes we'll get kind of like angsty and throw it at the pre-meet, but 35. I mean, honestly, for practice at IMG with Kibwe, I only threw the 35. I rarely touched the 25. Wow. Yeah.
No, I would always throw the 12. Like in high school, I would throw the 12. Every day I would warm up with the 16. Right. I'd warm up and throw stands, maybe halves, maybe a full, but I would mix it. Like I would go back and forth between the two. Right. And then like before a meet, I would go to would be a 5K. There's 1 pound below, just for like a pre-meet or like a mock meet, something like that.
That's like the normal thing to do. Most people do that, especially high school, and like most colleges do the same thing.
Would y'all do that in like the other events, or would you throw more normal?
No. I mean, okay. For the shot and the disc, it was like still I need to like learn the skill more. I definitely the hammer had skill to learn, but like shot, I wasn't that good at shot. I ended up throwing 1799 my last year, but whatchamacallit, we would throw like heavy shot. I threw 18-pound shot. I remember not Merrick, what's his name? Philip from UVA. I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah. Big dude,
Croatian guy. Yeah. Big Croatian guy. Him, Sandra Perkovic, and somebody that came for a train. Yeah, that was a crazy thing. Like some of the training camps I get, the people that come from overseas, like Pal Fidek, Marcel Lomnicki, him, a whole bunch of other hammer throwers. Hilmar from UVA came for a week or two. I got to train with him. So I got to train with crazy people, but their federation will buy them stuff to throw with, and they'll just leave it there. So they left us a bunch of stuff. So like we had like 18-pound shots, and I was throwing 18-pound shots all of my senior year and junior year because that's all he left it there. So we were just using it. And then for shot, I'll throw the 12 a little bit, mostly through 6, a lot of 6. My best shot put ever. I mean, I stepped over, it was like a foul, but like I threw 18-30 with a 6K in practice. So like, yeah, I mean, shot was like, I really enjoyed it, but hammer was definitely my event, and disc wasn't good. I got lucky one meet and threw 50, but
that's further than me. I threw like 47 meters, I think, in disc.
My stand throw was better than my full. Like I threw 50, my stand throw was 50, so it wasn't good. But yeah, it wasn't my event. I throw disc once a week. Shot was like 2 or 3 times a week, and then hammer all the other days. I think I'll double up shot and hammer on those 2 days. So yeah, so like training heavy, mostly heavy in the hammer. I already threw the 12 in practice. Like I forgot what the number was. Like Kibwe with Dr. B, he learned that you're going to throw the comp ball about 20% or something like that throughout the year of your throws. So my comp ball, like the ball closest to it, I'll throw most of the time was a 6K. So like most blocks, like 3K blocks. Every day I'll throw 3 balls, maybe 2 some of the days. So my heavy block was 9, 8, 7. My like medium block was 16, 6, 5, and then my light was 6, 5, 4.5. Okay. So never actually throwing the 12-pound. Yeah. Even for the shot, it's the same thing. Disc, I end up throwing the 1.6 because the increments are a little.
But y'all would go to meets that y'all would throw the 6K. Yeah. Like y'all went to different type meets like that.
So yeah, we go to like club meets because there's no high school hammer in Florida. Yeah. So we go to club meets. It depends what we were doing. Like if it was the first meet of the year, I'll throw the 12 to get my qualification for New Balance. I'll tick that box. But we'll throw the 6. Or when I was under 18, I threw the 5. Oh, okay. So yeah, 12 wasn't really worth it, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
it's just kind of in the middle.
It's an awkward ball. I think it's kind of like the problem with high school throwing, where you just like you go from 12 to 16. With like guys in Europe and around the world, that senior year and junior year, they're under 20, so they're throwing the 6K. So it's like not such a big jump. You're going from 12 and you're really tossing it, throwing a 16, and you might lose 3-4 meters. 100%. In the shot, in the hammer, you're going to lose 10, 15 maybe at the beginning.
There's no progression to it.
There's no progression. I mean, that was Kibwe's biggest thing, was we threw a lot of 16. So I was ready because the whole point was just getting to college and being good. Like, be good in high school, yeah, cool. But, like, college is a big thing. So, like, I threw 16 a lot. Like, my junior year of high school, I threw the 16, 59, 50. And then senior year, the day Pal Fidek came to train with us that week, the first day, he was throwing a 9K. I remember this. He was throwing a 9K. We had been throwing before him. He was coming for, like, the tail end of the session to throw after. And Kid was like, Pal's coming. You got to impress him. So I threw 63-30 with a 16. It wasn't pretty, but it was 63 in high school. Not bad at all. No, I think, Trey Knight was the leader that year. It was the 12 and the 63, 65. So, like, I'm not that bad. Yeah. I can keep up with him. Yeah, and then Pal came, and I'm, like, over the moon. I just threw 63 with a 16. And he's like, first throw, easy 9K. 64 and some change, 65, baby. Yeah, he was just tossing that thing. I think he threw the 6K 89 something when we were there.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's out there.
Him and Marcel. And he would just warm up with a half-length 35. Him and Marcel Lomnicki would just toss it back and forth to each other. And that was like a really cool time training with them, learning from them, talking to them, like cool guys. Yeah. It was also like funny seeing them around the cafeteria, like eating with us. Like we got out from school, like in our uniforms, and like Pal Fidex just sitting right there. And they were cool. And Pal, like, he taught us a lot, but Marcel, like, he was Marcel Lomnicki, Slovakian thrower, 79, some change. Not a big guy. The really cool looking throw. I'm pretty sure he was self-coached for most of his career.
No, I've never heard of him.
Marcel Lomnicki, yeah, really cool throw, funny guy, hilarious. I'm pretty sure he was self-coached, and then as he became a pro, he ended up getting with what's his name? I know his name. He was a really good weight thrower as well. He actually threw in the U.S. a little bit. He's a really good weight thrower. I remember his name. Libor Karfstieg or something like that, some European name. He was his coach in the end. But, throwing with him, super cool. Get to know those guys. I'm kind of numb to, like, throwing with, like, Olympians and, like, Sandra Perkovic. Like, she was there for a good month. Throw with her a little bit. She didn't talk too much. Very serious.
I was about to say, those are, like, the best throwers in the world.
Yeah, literally. I mean, especially even back then, like, Sandra Perkovic, she was, like, 2 years of Diamond League straight. She was a very serious lady. I mean, I want to talk to her more. Kidway let us skip class to like watch her throw. Wow. And so yeah, we skipped class. Me and this other girl who used to go there. She was discus thrower. She was crazy. She doesn't throw anymore, but she was like 6 foot, skinny, and just like she had longer arms than me. I think just crazy. From South Africa, me and her, we watched her train and like serious intensity. Like we're hoping we could talk to her. There was no way. And it was funny about her. She just threw like shots. Like she was discus throwing shots, like throwing like 4K shots. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, and then they had these weird like little plate things. They left them too, like little like weight plates that would be like 2.5K, 3K. And she was
throwing like, and it was like a discus shape,
kind of like a discus, yeah, like a little ring, like a little 2.5 pound plate, but it'll be like 2 kilos, like 3 kilos. They're still throwing those. Super interesting way to train. So it's just different. It's exposed to a lot of things. I wanted to talk to her, but
that's kind of like Raven. When like Raven's out there training, like it's an intensity that you just gotta. Like, afterwards, you can talk. But during this, she's going to get into this, and she's going to be yelling, and I love it.
Arguably, I would say it's a little bit worse, because at least, like, Raven, like, you know, she's shouting, yelling, talking to herself. It's funny. You can kind of give her a good job. Sandra, I don't feel like you could answer that much. She was very intense, like, yelling, screaming. She might have been having a bad day when we were there, but, man, she was ready, angry, like, pissed off, like, throwing hard. And I was too intimidated to say a word, so I kind of sat there in silence. Even like with Pal, like, yeah, we got to talk a little bit, but like I didn't want to get in their way. I was like, these guys are Olympians. Like Pal was the man, like still is the man. Like won all those world champs, 83-meter guy. So very interesting to see him train. Marcel talked quite a bit with his training. But yeah, it was cool just like be exposed to that so early.
Yeah. No, that's crazy because I still remember the first time I ever saw a weight throw was. Whenever year Birmingham, the Nationals were in Birmingham indoors. I think it was 2019, and Otterdahl won. Oh yeah, like the first ever weight throw I saw was him warming up with a 1-turn at like 70 feet, and it was just like that looked easy. And then it was
that's disgusting. Man.
He's a problem.
He's the man. I mean, he used to train with like I went to Arkansas with Ryan, obviously, and he came down one time to lift, and man, he's freak. Oh, yeah. He's not as big as you think either. Like, I have a picture of me and him together. He's obviously a little bigger than me, but we're same height. You know, I think he had like 20 pounds. I mean, he's not a big guy, but I mean, Ryan told me the story of like they were doing clean pulls and they had a little Tendo unit on it, and we're talking about like wattages. Like we used to, like with Ryan Krauser, we trained a lot talking about power wattages. I still look at wattage a lot, and like my best wattage on a hang clean pull was like 3,500 something. Ryan could hit 4,000. Something with like 200K, moving it pretty damn fast, like a 2.0 or something. Or no, maybe like 450 or something like that, crazy. Otterdahl with 405, I think he hit like 4,500. Something like that. He could, if he ever sees this, he could correct me, but it was something ridiculous. And yeah, it was just fast, man. Very impressive thrower. Even like with Ryan, with Ryan, the weights were insane, the speeds are insane, but to see someone top that just a little bit, it's a bit nuts.
Yeah, I remember watching a video. It was a video on his Instagram, and it was 455, and it looked like a squat. Like, cause there was people like spotting like a side spot, and I was just like, "There's no way he's about to squat."
Boom, back jerk,
boom, 3 in a row, just like it was nothing. It was just like, oh.
Well, some people just tapped in like that. Like they just that's obviously really hard work, great coaching, but that's it's genetic. Like that's
that whole family. They're
giants. They're like big North Dakotan giants, or I don't think they're from North Dakota. They're from around there. They're one of those states. But yeah, the big farm strength giants. That's impressive, man. Just can't make that shit up.
Seriously. So how'd you get from the UK? Like you went back to the UK in COVID. Right. So what was your process of getting recruited and like going to Arkansas?
So I was already signed. Okay. Thankfully, I signed pretty late for someone who was high up on the ranks with me. So I was in between my top 3. It was like Tennessee, Iowa, Arkansas. I really want to go to Bama, but Yosh wasn't interested, I guess. But he told me the story. That's not important. So I don't think he had enough money left. He didn't think it was worth it. So that's fine. He actually recruited one of my teammates, Maddie Fowler, pretty heavily. Okay. She doesn't throw anymore. She plays volleyball, but she was really good as well. Very athletic. Her brother was in the NFL, older brother in the NBA. Very athletic family. So Tennessee, went on the visit. I really liked there. That was really my top school. I really want to go there, but financially it wasn't going to work out. They didn't give me what I was expecting. So Iowa, they gave me a really good offer. I liked it. Let down. Like they didn't have a cafeteria. Cold. It brought me there in like January. It was like the wrestling championship, national championship. Super fun. I liked it there. I love the guys there too. But then, the money.
They know how to wrestle up there at Iowa.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely do. No, I'd never been to like a real like wrestling, like freestyle wrestling match. I didn't know what it was about, but it was like a Royal Rumble. It's like coming down. Like it was like the lightweights, and like they would just finish. They'll be on the screen. The 147 or whatever the weight class is. They'll come out. I know it was super cool. Great guys too. Tyler Linall hosted me. Like, had a super fun time. He was pretty good. I think he threw 21 the weight, 63 in the hammer. Coming from JUCO, he was pretty damn good. But then Arkansas came up, and they didn't really have a throws program. I was like, oh, it's kind of suspect. And I was like, I pioneered something at IMG where it was like, I was the first over there. I took a chance. It ended up really working out for me. I built this, I didn't build it. Kidway built it. But I was a part of this like building process where we had, 7 or 8 throwers by the end of it. We had Luke Whitty at LSU, Andreas. We had little Will. We had Sam Holbrook. She went to Georgia Southern. Maddie, Cara, all these people. Ended up building something really fun. I really liked that. And I was like the OG guy there. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I kind of want to do that again. So I went to Arkansas. The offer was great. Being around Ryan Krauser, having that there, I was like, man, this is once in a lifetime.
Did you know that Krauser would be there, when you signed?
Yes, I did. I didn't get to meet him on my visit. He had just moved there the year before. He wasn't there on my visit. I think he was out doing something, or probably wasn't interested in recruiting. But technically, he wasn't even a volunteer at that point. So
yeah, that would have been a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a problem, right? So yeah, I went there. I hit it off with Mario really well. I knew hammer wasn't really his event. He was more like decathlon and shot put. He was the guy Coach Ryan in college. Yeah. But for one, he was a great athlete himself. I could tell the environment he had training, second to none, and like his mindset and how he was going about things. And he was like open to learn. He was like, look, this is not really my event. I've coached it before. You're probably one of the best guys I've had, the best guy I've had. I'm open to learn more, and you've had a really good base of training. So, like, I think we can make something work. And I was like, yeah, we can make it work. I love the guy, great guy. So yeah, I ended up signing there. It was a money thing. Also, really like Mario, like the facility. Be around Ryan Krauser, can't complain. And also, there was Eric Sullins there. The guy ended up coaching my second year. He had a big PR with Mario, so I was like, I trust this guy. He went from 65 to 69. No, it's 69. I didn't hit 70 quite yet that first year with him. I was like, you know what? He's been able to put something on his throw. His throw's a little better than mine. There's something I can learn here. And I was like, I want to be in the SEC, the best conference. Sign there. So I signed that paper, took that full ride, and it was Woo Pig Suey from then on out. I know I didn't end up finishing there, but 2 years there with Ryan, second to none. Like, I learned so much. Even like I just started trying to coach people now. Like, a lot of the stuff he talked about in the shot, I even threw some shot with him. I learned a lot of it could stick, and we've gone back and forth about his weight room stuff. Like, I got absurdly strong with it.
I would say, what was his? You've sent me some of the programs, but what was his training with him in the weight room, stuff like that? Like
absurd volume. There's a reason why he is the best. Like, I don't know if everyone can train like that. I think I could my first year, second year when. I feel like it's a perfect situation. If you have great technique, you've got the sport down. You just need to get more athletic and physically stronger. That final touch, for sure. I think if you're someone like me who threw really well, but their technique still wasn't great, my feeling was decent, but my technique wasn't quite there. A lot of things that I needed to fix. You just couldn't work on that with the amount of lifting we were doing. Like, some of the lifts were crazy. We lifted 6 times a week in the beginning, 2-a-days,
Lifting?
Yeah, 2-a-day lifting. Sometimes the lift would be like 7 days a week. Oh, seven lifts a week. It wouldn't be 7 days straight. We saw it at our rest. And it was just different, man. A lot of volume, like even like the conjugate style training he does in like November, where it's 7 sets, I think maybe 8 sets. Like, you have a speed you're supposed to hit, so it'd be like a 0.7, maybe like 0.6 front squat. You have 8 sets there. No, it starts at 6 sets, but you got to keep going. So you miss speed, you add 10 pounds. Yeah. So you might get up to like 10 sets because you haven't missed the speed yet. So it was very, very, very difficult. I remember like the worst workout was, it was like a Friday where it was like a legs and posterior chain day. So in the morning before we threw, it's 7:30. We'll come and do like a 5x12 back squat with some pin squat, then some other leg stuff, and your legs just be fried. And then you'll go to class for a little bit. It was online, thankfully. Yeah. Online a little bit, like try not to like die in class. Sit there, come back in the evening for like a 4x20 low bar back squat. Wow. Then you had some more like posterior glute work, like RDLs, and then like upper body back stuff. And it was like 2 lifts a day. Like it was very difficult. Like never been that sore in my life before, but like very damn strong. It was just very difficult for me to be able to throw and lift like that at the same time, you know? And that would be like one workout, and like Wednesdays would be like strongman days, or like fitness days, and like we'll like shadow box, like do some cardio by shadow boxing, and then we'll like throw sledgehammers, do med ball stuff. It was interesting. Like we did cleans and squats on the same day, snatches and squats on the same day. We had like a bench kind of only day with upper body stuff, but it was very, very a lot of volume. Even like the amount of throws we were taking, I was learning the shot. I was learning the rotational shot, so it was like, I guess I maybe needed more throws because of that, but, he would do something similar where, you had like 10 pre-turn stand throws and 10 static stand throws. Like he breaks down the stand throw like that small, and then 10 normal stand throws, and, 10 halves. It might be like 5 non-reverse, 5 with a reverse, and then 10 static fulls, and then 10 fulls. Yeah. And then you're not done yet. You have to up a special strength. So it'd be like, heavy shot put flicks, you do like 2 sets of 10, 3 sets of 10, or it'd be like 2 sets of 10 each side kneeling shot put flicks into the wall. Yeah. So you end up getting like 60, 70 releases in a day. And like most of the time you do it into the wall because you get hit so hard, the distances are just.
Yeah, that just kills your confidence if you watch the ball.
Well, it's killing your confidence, and like you're trying to work on technique and not feeling. So I think throwing the wall is beneficial, but like some of those days you can't really throw a hammer into a wall. We didn't have like a net set up, so like some days would be depressing. Like some days, like here, like off season, you might lose 5-7 meters because you're tired. Yeah. But like maybe not 7, maybe 5, right? Yeah. But like there, I could lose 10, 11, and you have to really, 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 really trust in the program that it's gonna come back around. Yeah. Because like in season, comparatively to what we were doing, you were deloaded. You were let off.
I would say, what would it be like peaking?
Peaking, the workouts, you'd still be lifting quite heavy, but the volume would be quite less. So it'd be like, 4 singles, the day before the meet, there'd be no lifting, or we do like a primer squat. So this is really interesting. Not many people do this. You need like a Sorinex rack with safety. So you want like safety kind of at like your quarter squat, and then a safety just before your lockout. These black monster Sorinex bands, or you double up like the thick kind of green bands. A lot of tension. That, with 2 plates, and they're called jammer squats. Yeah. You have the band set up, safeties at the quarter. Then you'll have another safety right at the top just before you lock out. And you'll start at the bottom like a pin squat, hit it up with like maybe 2 or 3 plates on there. It'd be like 500, 600 pounds with the bands. Stand it up and jam it into the rack, and you have like a 3-second isometric at the top. We'll do like 3 or 4 sets of that night before the meet. And that was like our primer, and then we'll go throw. You probably would have pre-meet night before. So you would pre-meet throw, take 6 throws tops, do that little primer squat thing, jam it in. Next day you would compete. But like the day before, it was usually nothing.
So the day before that?
The day before, so 2 days before. Then that like Monday or that like Tuesday or whatever day it was, whatever day the meet was, you would have that kind of decently intense squat workout with a little bit of accessories, not much.
So pretty normal peaking.
Pretty much normal, but just because it's such a huge difference from doing all of that volume than to like little to nothing. You know what I mean? It felt like nothing because you were there. And even the difference between him and like what I've been doing before is like, you had like your 2 main lifts, like you had like your primary snatch, or then you had like a secondary squat, and you had accessories, and most of the time you'd be kind of gassed, so you kind of going through the motions. With him, no, you were pushing those accessories like whole way through, like everything. Like you would be damn sore, man. Like most of the time. Like the first week of program, awful. Like it was one night sophomore year where I was trying to sleep. I had lifted until like 7 at night. I'm sure my CNS was kind of up from lifting hard, and my legs were so sore from, I think we were doing like 6x6 up band front squats, like full depth. Wow. And they're pretty heavy. I think I worked up to like 4 or 5, maybe like 450 front squats. Heavy. They're up bands, like good up bands. They're purple. So I'd probably like 100 pounds off at the bottom. Yeah. Did that. My legs were so sore. And we had walking lunges too after that. Legs were so sore. I had to sleep off the bed, like my chest on the bed, my legs on the floor, just kind of like bent over sleeping. Because like laying on my back, my legs were just so sore. It's like my quads touching my bones hurt so much I had to sleep standing up. And it was real, man. Like it was tough. The main thing was it's sleep and eat so much food. Like so much food to recover from that. And I think it can work for like shot putters and stuff. Like you can train like that, but for hammer throwing,
clearly it works.
Well, yeah, clearly it works.
Indoor outdoor world record.
Right, yeah, that's what he does. And like what we were doing was a little bit less than him. Yeah. He was doing a little bit more with a lot more weight. But like for hammer throwing, I don't think for myself I could have handled that because like my technical sessions were so wrecked because I was just so sore. Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't also I'm not gonna blame him or blame Mario. It was more just a thing of like I needed something different. I needed to like stay strong, maintain what I had because I was stronger than most of the guys, pretty much all the guys in my event. There's some outliers like Mortal, a lot of guys, even like Bob was stronger than me. I don't think he was as powerful as me, but I didn't need that. I really needed to like stay strong, maintain my strength, and work on my throw. I just couldn't do that at the same time. I think that's what kind of led to my like demise. Like, you know, really big freshman year, 66, 85, 21, 75 in the weight. You know, that's not good for a freshman anymore apparently. But because some guys have come up, but that was good. And sophomore year, I was really ready to go, and I took the ante up, and I couldn't throw like that. I just couldn't maintain that for 2 years. Like I got injuries, like I tore my intercostal muscle, and that really bugged me. I didn't really take time off for that. Yeah. And it's like other things were just nagging me, and I just couldn't throw every day the way I wanted to. And like coming here, that changed a lot. Where the lifting's still hard, but I'm able to train around that still. Yeah, that's the main thing with his lifting. Great stuff, man. I got really strong. Like my numbers are through the roof. You know,
that's just tough on your body there, doing that much stuff.
We never 1 rep max because like, I think that's a little bit sketchy at times. But like the deload week will be our max week, and we'll take whatever we're doing. We're working sets of 5. You take your top set of 5. You do like an AMRAP as many as you can do. Maybe you get 6. Maybe you get 7. And that was our max. And then I remember like my clean that year, like I hit 385 for 4. It was power clean, 2 hangs, power clean. Wow. I mean that's. Well, I did the other day for one, exactly, but would I say it moved as fast as it did this year? Like that time I did freshman year till now, no. Okay. But I had more grit and I was a lot more strong. I'm able to do the same weight a little bit faster with a whole lot less strength and a whole lot less weight. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, just not murdering my body every day. I mean, if I stayed there all 4 years, I don't know how it would have went just because like my joints are starting to get hurt. I just couldn't throw. I couldn't really get something technical together. Mm-hmm. And plus, like, the throwing was a lot, too. Like, we throw a lot here 6 days a week. I mean, there was one day with Mario where we were throwing, it was really rough. Like, we just got on the Krauser program. We could barely walk. Like, we're so tight and sore. We had a really bad day on a Saturday, and he was like, oh, yeah, man, today was rough. Like, I want you to get upset. So, like, tomorrow, go out and get me about, like, 12 more throws. And I'm thinking, really? 12 more throws? And I've just thrown 45 meters 12 times in a row. But hey, I trusted it and I kept going. I ended up having a really good year with him. So not really complaining, but it was very difficult for me to maintain that all the way through. So that's what ended up leading to my transfer. Yeah. So
what was it like? Obviously Krauser's indoor outdoor world record holder. Like what was it like watching him throw shot like in training?
It was like, I guess for now it's like numbing. Because like I would see someone throw 18, 19 meters in the shot. Ask me in high school, like, whoa, that's really far. But like when I'm seeing someone throw a 20-pound, 20 meters, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I got so used to it where I'm like, he would throw something really deep, like a 16 way over 22, and he'd be like, ugh, and that was okay. And then, you just get used to it. It's just numbing seeing that. And it kind of skewed my frame of reference where like I was always comparing myself to him. And had some negative things, but also pushed me really far. Because like, he was just so strong, like absurdly, even for his height, like, 315 snatches like nothing, 315 hip snatches like nothing. So like it kind of skews your frame of reference because you're always like, man, like this is my normal. I'm seeing someone who's a little bit older than me do this every day. Why can't I be there? So it has some negatives, but also some positives where it really just like pushed me every day. And like, you're training with a world record holder. So you're like, oh, I have to be good. Like I have to be good. Like every day I'm trying to like, for one, impress him, for two, just like keep up. Cause like, you want to be riding around with him thinking like, oh, we're on the same level. Obviously you're not, but like you want to keep up with him. So that was like the difficult part with training there. But no, I mean, it was a great experience. I learned so much, man, about training, like literally what your body can handle. Training, intensity, just really living it. Like you have to live what you're doing. Like you can't kind of do it. Like some people can get away with they just throw. Like this is like their hobby. They're just paying for the school starting. But like with him, he really lived it. Like every second of his life was about throwing. And I realized that's what I need to do if I want to be great. So like that's one major lesson I've taken from him is like, I have to live what I'm doing. Like if you're not living it, if you're not going home, watching video, thinking about your throw, like you can get in your head sometimes overthinking stuff. Like if you're not going home watching video, thinking about it at night, every night I look at my training, good and bad. Look at the phone. Sometimes I cast it to my TV and I'm just watching the throws over and over again. When I'm eating, I'm not thinking about like, oh, this is what tastes good. This is what I want to eat. I'm not that hungry right now. I'm thinking, shoot, I got a big throw session or a big lift. I need to eat a lot of food. I'm eating around lifting. I'm like, okay, I'm done lifting now. That was a hard lift. I can already back off on the carbs, but I need still a little bit of carbs, but a shoot ton of protein because I know I'm going to be sore. I need to recover so I can throw again the next day and the day after. So just living every second of your life needs to be about what you're doing if you want to be great. And you could be good, but you need to live it if you want to be great.
100%. And I know what you're saying about like having someone to push you like that. Because when I first, Alabama high school track and field is not the best, especially in throws. Some of the sprints and all that were really good, but throwing, we just don't have the coaches around in high school to really do it that well. So me, Josiah, and Harrison would be the only people throwing like around 60 feet my senior year. So I felt like I was throwing really far. And then I showed up here like first day, and you have Bob, Isaac, Chago, all these people, and like the girls are squatting 600 pounds.
Man.
Like the first day I walked into the weight room, it wasn't even at the Alabama weight room. It was at the Crunch weight room. And like I like talked to someone about like meeting it there at the right time. I walk in and it's Nicolette. It's got 585 on her back doing a box squat, and I was like, oh, this is just different, huh? I was like, that is crazy.
You get to college, there's some animals, especially even like the comparison between men and women. You're like, oh shit, some of these girls are stronger than me. I mean, even like when we got my joy this year, and like I think I got a strong boss squat, but she's only 100 pounds less.
Like she was hitting 585.
Easy. I mean, I'm motivating you, bro. I see you get to 600. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna shut up. Like, I don't want to get too close to me. But no, it's just like the difference when you get to college is so different. Like the quality is just so different. And it's just like, you're the guy at your school. Like IMG was different. We all really want to be good. You were the guy at your school who was the best. Everyone else was kind of just doing it for fun or just like regular students. So your reference gets thrown off, and then you get to college like, oh, there's 100 people who are like me. So like now I got to really step it up, and that's like the biggest change I feel like going from high school to college.
100%. It's just it makes it so real when you go to the first meet, and it's just like there's no one here that doesn't know how to throw. Like the person in the first flight who's not doing well, his spin looks decent. And you're sitting there like everyone here knows how to throw. Like it's all the other stuff. Like what else?
No more like football player in the shot put ring in Jordans like pumping up the shot to throw it. Might still beat you somehow, but like, there's none of that. Now, everyone knows what they're doing. And that's like the biggest change, and then that motivated me. I was like, I gotta be the best. And like, I was blessed enough my freshman year where I was the best freshman in my event. There was guys obviously who were close, but like I was really lucky with a good coach and some really good throws that I was the best. But that moved my frame of reference like, okay, well the guys next year are doing, and also like how am I going to top this next year because I don't want to be up down. So that's.
But you still saw Martle throw 24 meters.
Yeah, man, he's bold. He's bold coming in and throwing. I'm like, man, I'm throwing against grown men now, so I got to like really step it up. But there's no excuse like, oh, I'm only a freshman. Like, no, we're all in college. So you got to step it up. And even like with Bob, remember seeing Bob there his first year. I was like, damn, like this dude's good. And apparently that year he was having a rough year. He's still whooping my ass. So, just getting around those people that are better because you got to think like you were the best your high school class. Now you're going to a system where everybody was the best their high school class.
They literally searched the world looking for people who were the best.
Especially in our conference, the SEC, everyone's damn good. Not to say there's not good throwers elsewhere. There is, but it's maybe a couple.
SEC. It's just very deep,
it's just the depth of it. Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a few conferences like that, but boy, it is so deep.
Right.
There was 2 years ago indoor SECs. The kid who got 9th, it was Viveros from Ole Miss, would have made nationals. If he threw it at regionals, would have made nationals. He got 9th, so didn't score a point.
Right.
Go home, no points, nothing for your team, and you would have made nationals. Like it's crazy.
Wasn't he high school number 1 or 2 when he was
71 feet in high school? He's a great thrower. Like he's
71 feet. Yeah. Like, you got guys like Jordan Geist and Tripp, all these fellas.
Geist is. I've never seen someone throw like it. I've never seen someone move like that.
Athlete, man. I remember I was telling you this the other day. We're at Albuquerque, and I see him. He's doing like in the little hallway thing, doing turns with 235s, and they look great. And he's not even a hammer thrower. And like even to this day, I think he's the toe and 2 world record holder in the hammer. And he's not a hammer
He'll fly
thrower.
out the back of the ring. It'll go 73 meters. Like,
oh yeah, and off a toe and 2. The only other toe and 2 I know that's thrown over 70 is Colin Dunbar from like 5 years ago. That really big like strongman guy. He was like 6'10", Jordan guy. He's a big dude, not that big, but just wired differently.
He just moves.
I remember even like high school. My sophomore year to his senior year, I think. I didn't watch the throw live at New Balance, but I remember watching the video. Like, what in the world was that? Like, no one's really moving like that. Like that.
Did you see? I don't think there's a video. Is there a video of him hitting the back like wall at New Balance? Because I always heard that when I went to New Balance, there was a chunk out of the little back wall in that shot put ring. I remember hearing that. And everyone, I think it was the Troy coach. She said she was there. She was like, yeah, in warm-ups, he smacked the back wall, the top of the back wall. And I remember I was there. I watched him measure the wall at 79.3. It's like a 2-foot wall. So, I mean.
Nah, man, that dude's nuts, man. That's so nuts. I'm happy he's keeping going, though. Yeah, he's going to keep.
Do you think anyone's ever going to throw 81 feet?
In the high school shot? What was that the record? That's Michael Carter's record? I don't know. I don't think so. That's like Connor McCullers, like 28 meters, 50 weight throw. I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's someone very special, like because it's not just like physically special; it's gonna have to be technically very special as well at the same time. Because even like Michael Carter's, where it's not that there's like a really crappy black and white video of it. Yeah, exactly. He was extremely physical with beautiful glide, but like Jordan Geis was beautiful spin, extremely physical, and he was nearly there but not there. So like I don't know. I haven't seen anyone in high school I think who can top it.
I think Krauser is the closest, or either Geist or Krauser, because Krauser threw 77 something.
Probably. I don't know. I know he's still the discus high school record holder, 70 something. Yeah.
You think is he ever going to throw disc? What do you think?
I don't know. When I was there, he was always talking about it. And I know when he was coaching those 3 guys who came after I left, I guess he was around it more. And whatever he said, he like threw it for fun. He went kind of far, but. What was I going to say? He always talked about going back to it, and he might. I don't know. Maybe because I know he had some issues with his elbow last year. I'm not sure how he's doing this year. It's probably a little better. Maybe it would be a good move for him. Yeah. But he always talked about like his disc throw. He always like fantasized about how it would be different from his shot throw. Just hearing how he talk about it, because he takes all that space coming out the back. He was like, yeah, if I was to throw discus again, like it'll be similar, but it has to be a little shorter out the back. Big right leg turn, like. He would talk about it a lot. I couldn't break it down for you. It's all super complicated, not my sport. Yeah. But he talked about it. I could see him going back for sure.
I think he could throw like 70 meters. Like he threw so far. Like what's
without a doubt, if he worked on it. I mean, he threw 65 in high school. I remember he said in college. He said like I didn't even hit it that good. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to see it happen.
Yeah, it said like he didn't block or something like that. Like there was no block and he threw that far. I'm like, okay, buddy. But I mean, I seen him throw a 40-pound weight. Nearly 18 meters off a wine and one, never throwing a weight. I can throw a 40-19 on a good day, a very good day. Yeah. And that's my sport. And, I'm top, hopefully this year I'll be top 5. My freshman year I was top 20. So, like, I'm not bad at it. He can nearly beat me with it. So, not like I'm a small guy either. I'm a 6'4", 265. He's, 6'7", 300 something. So.
No, he's just a problem.
Impressive, yeah. He could do a lot of things. He even threw the javelin in high school pretty far. That was like one of his events. Yeah, because his cousin,
Olympian, right?
Olympian, yeah. Yeah, no, it was interesting. He actually came to hang out with us one time we were lifting. Just like he's a little bit taller than Ryan. Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's like 6'8". Big family. I mean, his dad Mitch come around too and watch him train. Like really cool guy. He threw 65 or 66 back in the day in the disc. Yeah, really cool guy. Big throwing family. I mean, even like his uncles are crazy good as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's a bunch of his family that threw.
Yeah, he said something about like his like great grandpa did something like he used to work on like the railroads, and he picked up one of like the rail cars or something like that. Yeah, okay. Something like that. I'm like, someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh, I don't believe you. Maybe that happened because
he was probably a strong motherfucker.
Yeah, he was probably strong. Like, like I could 100% believe.
It may be exaggerated a little bit.
It may be exaggerated. I don't know if he maybe he just like managed to like pick it up a little bit, but apparently something like that. But he worked on like railroads in Oregon or something. So,
and how do you feel about this year coming up, man? Especially
this year is coming up, man. Like training's been very good, like very good. I don't want to jinx myself or anything, but like training's been the best it's been. Coming out of outdoor red shirting was very beneficial for me. I felt like being able to, take a season kind of off where I can just, stay lifting, stay throwing, not deloading a bunch and taking days off to travel and compete. I was able to like really work out some very minute details to my throw to get me back to where I was freshman year, and I ended up surpassing it. So coming from that, and like even like Yosh talks about, is like I'm like a technician now. Like I'm not just this big kid who could throw really far, but like I couldn't even like freshman year I couldn't even use my turns. Like I would do 3 turns, the ball wouldn't really pick up speed. I was really hard winds, crazy hard finish. Like you remember if I hit a finish freshman year, it would go. Like remember you saw that big weight throw at SECs, it was 75 feet. That's what people were claiming. I didn't see how far it went.
In warm-ups, it was.
In warm-ups, I hit the finish really well. And like that was my like end point. Like if I could hit the finish, it was going to go far, 70 feet at worst. But my turns were so crappy and my patience was so crappy my freshman year from just bad habits I picked up. Yeah. And one thing is like throwing sore and tired. You're going to want to pull because you're not comfortable in certain positions. But getting out of that, learning how to use my turns, like believe it or not, I couldn't really use my turns. The ball would pick up speed or even get slower from the winds. Learning how to do that set me in a position where I got a nice PR this year, got my first national championship under 23 for England. I was really happy about that. I mean, it wasn't the deepest competition in the world, and the guy probably, our number one under 23 guy wasn't there. He's at NCAAs, but I'll take it. Throwing a PR there, especially when it counts at a big meet like that, happy. Gave me a bunch of confidence. You know, I managed to get a training PR well over what my competition PR is now. So then that led into a really good offseason, great fall that we just finished up now where, you know, I ended up getting back to where I was throwing last summer within the first month. And I'm extremely grateful for that. It normally takes time to get back to where you were. So, yeah, outdoor hammers were going really well. You had a great session today. Indoor weight, extremely well. Like, throwing the heavies far. Now we're getting down to the 35, trying to work out the lighter things and work on a competition technique a little bit more than, you know, doing, you know, a 2-turn finish, 1-turn finish, or, you know, I changed my sling up a little bit. So now it's more... So, like, the big thing that changed me for outdoor this year is made me so much more consistent. I removed that big step up. That big step up, for one thing for me, it was making... the acceleration was so sudden and quick that I had a little bit of time to get the ball where I wanted it to be, and if it wasn't there, I was screwed. And it was just so hit or miss. Like, I'll step up late, I'll step up early. I didn't have a, like, in my mind, I didn't have a
inconsistent.
Yeah, it was inconsistent. I didn't have a throw that I could just go to every time to start practice. It was kind of like step up and see what happens, you know? I took that out, and like obviously distance went down a little bit because now I got to use my turns. I got to, you know, can't hit the winds as hard because I don't have as much momentum. I was able to get to a throw now where I can hit it consistently because I'm not stepping up, and that just helped me out a lot, teach me how to use my turn. So with this new change in the entry with the sling where, you know, it's not a big swing up and down and really high again where I drop it. And like the good ones I keep up, they'll go far. But the ones I drop, you know, I'll throw 18, 19 meters with 20 if I'm lucky. Now that I'm stopping it, it's kind of like a bump start where I'm bumping it on one side and I'm bringing it back to nearly bump it on the other side, but I'm just stopping. Set up something easier, slower, flatter. That set me up to like way more consistent training sessions. Also not hurting my ribs and my back as much. So, I mean, that's the main thing is like staying healthy. Like if you can't, especially in the weight, like if you're hurt, you're not going to throw it that far.
No, I've just recently started throwing the weight, and if you're hurt, there ain't no way.
It's not happening. I mean, like, you know, I'm dealing with knee stuff. It's getting a lot better with rehab, but like, you know, you got to train around your injury.
What you been doing for your knee?
So yeah, the main thing was I had really bad knee pain. Like, so my first week here, we're doing like standing triple. And, you know, we're big guys doing standing triple. I just tweaked my knee somehow. I don't know. I don't know what I've done to it. Tweaked my knee, and like, you know, I remember that day I couldn't lift. I took the lift off, and then I started getting back into it. It was fine. It was just hurting, so I started throwing with the knee sleeve on. I didn't really do much for it the whole of last year, and then like some sessions last year, I'll take 5 throws, but I can't really throw anymore because my knee's hurting so bad. So I did a little bit of rehab with it with like TKEs, like terminal knee extension, with a band behind your knee, locking it out, trying to, you know, get blood to the VMO, strengthen the tendon. I was doing that, and that would just like let me get into the workout and work out pain free, and then I'll still have a lot of pain afterwards and like struggle to walk. So it's just like really bad tendonitis. So then, you know, I consulted with JD, our waist coach. Started doing like backward sled walks, but the knees over toes guy's really big on that. Like tib raises on the wall, working on the tib. You'll strengthen all the sides of the knee. Doing TKEs and then those Jefferson step ups. Working, you know, for one, I was shocked just like stability. I have like no stability in my left knee. Like my bad knee, my ACL.
That's a big part of the knee injuries is the stability of it. Especially recovering from it, because you don't recognize how bad it's off until you do some of those lifts.
Yeah, you're like, oh shoot. Like I was like the box is, you know, 4 inches and I can't step down off of it without holding something or like falling over. And like my right knee, my surgery knee is like fine because I've actually done a lot of rehab on this side. This side we're doing both sides, but I was more focused on that. So I never really got that stability in my left knee. So been doing that for a couple months now, and like it's getting a lot better. Like I can Probably throw without a sleeve now, but we're coming into season. I want to keep my knees warm and safe, so there's no reason to risk it. And honestly, I like how it feels. It lets me kind of sit a little bit more. But yeah, it's been getting a lot better. That and I started taking collagen. That's helped a lot.
Really? Have you felt that really helped?
Yeah, I feel like it's helped a lot. Even like my knees and my back, it just helps a lot.
I've heard that from a lot of people. So
I don't think it's night and day. I don't think it's like, oh, you take this and your knees gonna stop hurting, but you need rehab. You need stretch your quads so things aren't pulling on as much. Even your calf. All that stuff has really been helping. So that's a big thing. And even like with my back, I had a bit of a tweak. Most people at that point are like, oh, I need to stop throwing for a week or something. No, I don't need to do that. I took a day off. Like, I think conveniently it was a Wednesday that it started. It was a Tuesday, so it started instead of a day off. And like one thing with Ryan, I learned when I get little like flare ups and issues like muscly type of injuries, the main thing it needs is blood flow. So like I started, for one, rolling out my glute med. That was crazy tight. Assessing is like, you're turning one way all the time. I had a lot of hip mobility on my left, but not my right. So assessing that my right side's hurting. Assessing that, reverse hypers, that machine's like opening up the back, contracting the back where a place where it's supported. So that gives it blood flow, gives me a pump to it, lets it heal, and so that's been helping a lot with my back. So I think the big thing with like muscle injuries, like small muscle injuries, is like take time off, take a couple days off, of course, but get blood flow to it so it can actually heal.
You can get blood flow to it with light exercise, light intensity stuff, and it is massively helpful to the recovery process. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to get like elbow pain and forearm pain from like lifting at Arkansas. Like anything that would like stress out my hands. I don't know which direction this is. Just like down. Yeah. I don't know. Anything that stress my hands, like I get like nervy pain in both sides. Just like I guess like I don't know what this muscle's called. Like forearm. Yeah. Forearm. I know it's like the ulnar nerve. I actually have a broken elbow on this side. Wow. Doing that stuff, like I was thinking, like, oh, I need time off. Like, oh, I need to do something about it. I was like, Ryan was like, no, let's like do some like hammer curls to get blood flow to it and see what happens. The next day, it was fine. Wow. So like, one thing from him and just learning myself in general, like a lot of those small injuries is blood flow oriented.
100%. No, 100%. I think that the way that it's a kind of counterintuitive because you think like if I get done with a squat workout, when we squat on Fridays and then we come in on Saturday morning and do our little jump circuit or stadiums, whatever it may be. Right. Like when I show up there, I hate it and I'm pissed. I'm like, why am I here? Right. This is stupid. And then I get into the thing and it hurts and I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah, and then by the end of the lift, by the end of like whatever the little jump circuit is, I get the blood flow and I'm like, oh, my legs feel better.
You're a little loose.
Yeah, later that day I feel better. Sunday I feel great. Like
it makes sense. Like the next day you feel even better. It's getting the blood flow and like the lactic acid, getting all of that stuff out. It's even like what you do with like the voodoo, like the floss bands. That stuff just getting blood flow to it. I mean, even like going back to Ryan, he would do like BFR, like band
blood flow restriction
squats. He would like band off his hips and around his knees, and he would do like 4 sets of 20 on the pit shark, the belt squat. Yeah. And we'll do it too sometimes where our legs are destroyed. Like I can barely walk. Like I need to like warm up to do even an air squat. Like I need to like jog and like skip, and it just hurts. Like I'm limping. I'm not feeling good. And he'll say, "Oh, let's do some BFR so you can raise your legs." I'm like, no way. Like I'm not doing this. No, there's no way. Do the BFR. Next day your legs feel golden. You're not even sore anymore. Yeah. So
you got to let the stuff in your body actually work. Yeah. And that's what it is. The blood in your body that's what it's meant to do, is recover from what you did. Like that's the purpose of it. So you just get more blood.
Move all the nutrients to it, all that stuff. I don't know the science behind it, was getting nutrients to the muscles, exactly even the joints is exactly what you need. So yeah, I mean that stuff really sucks, but you got to do it, Yeah, I mean even with your joints that helps too. So many things that helps.
How badly do you think we're going to beat Auburn at this dual meet, man?
Oh, we're going to destroy them.
It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, it's not going to be close. I mean, the only real points, no offense, the real points that they have is like throws. I mean, I guess they had a good high jumper last year. I don't know what their sprints were like, but like we're kick their ass in this.
I think men's and women's team both coming home with the trophy.
Oh, I mean, we're going to have to perform, but it's not going to be that hard now. I mean, especially our ladies' side and throws. I mean, they got some good women too, but we recruited a whole bunch more. I think on the guys' side, just on numbers, we're gonna struggle a little bit. But I take that.
We can get it done.
Take that weight home. You get some points in the shot. We'll be good. I mean, they're gonna kill us in depth on the men's side.
Yeah, they'll have more throwers, but it's all right. Yeah, we're gonna get them as a team. We'll get them.
Oh yeah, as a team, no problem. Especially our sprints, man. Come on, good shape. We got Osama, Chris.
I can't wait to see them run. Yeah,
I'm excited for Osama. I think he's gonna be dangerous. Yeah, dangerous, man. Yeah. Great work ethic, man. That guy, serious work ethic. We were working the camp, speed and power camp, and those big, heavy sore neck squat boxes we had. We're trying to drag them from the weight room to the football field, all the way to the other corner, not halfway through the field. They're really heavy. Wow. It's hard to get them there. I'm thinking there's no way she wants us to bring them there. That's so heavy. I'm dragging him. He was struggling with them too. I'm thinking there's no way if he's struggling, I'm struggling, he's going to be struggling. Osama's over there rolling the boxes, kind of like how Portius does it, but he's not rolling it stop. Yeah. He's like, oh, if it just keeps moving, it's not that hard. He's just rolling the boxes, and I'm like, man, I'm over here complaining. You just found a way around it. It's no problem for you at all. Smile on his face. He's laughing. He doesn't care. I'm thinking, man, I'm sweating. Yeah. Pissed off.
That is the best way to move those boxes, though. You got to keep it moving.
No, but the way you guys do it, you kind of push it a little bit. He's like, just keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. I was like, man, this is easy. So, I'm excited for him. A lot of people. My Joy, Chandler.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good year.
Everyone.
I got one more question for you, bro. Right. How do you feel about the Nick Ponzio situation, man?
That's it's shitty, right? He actually came to train at ARC one time. I didn't really get to hang around him that much, but good guy. Crappy situation. The testing situation is tough. I mean, a lot of people get the whereabouts. They get even with Ryan. I was around him and he's getting tested 24/7. Yeah. You got to be on that, updating it. I know he had a situation with his phone. Yeah, shit definitely happens. You're traveling. Time goes on and on and on and on. Crappy. I mean, I don't know what they've done recently that he's not going to make it to the Olympics. Is that the story?
I haven't seen that.
I saw something that he might not make it to the Olympics because they've extended the ban or they denied waiving half of it. They were supposed to. They denied it supposedly. I don't know. I think it's really tough. I think it's really, really, really tough. I think it's part of the sport. I don't think how the whereabouts testing works is particularly fair. You have to update it every 3 hours or something. Even I think of Mark Dry, a hammer thrower from Scotland, just ended up really kind of ending his career. During COVID, he gets whereabouts tested. It's peak of lockdown. Yeah. He had gone on a fishing trip. Didn't think to update his thing because, it's COVID. And it was in the UK too, where there was really the restrictions are way harder. There's no face-to-face interaction. Everyone's locked in their house. He's on a fishing trip. He was gone for 2 hours. He gets popped. He gets 18 months. They retested him. He was clean. Because they'll retest you anyway if you miss it. He was clean, and he misses 18 months, really, he loses out on his Nike scholarship.
Yeah, it's so much stuff.
Contract, he had to get a job. He ended up not being able to, really come back from that. I know he trained again, competed for a year, but it's just tough. It's hard to come back from that. So, yeah, I think it sucks. I do wish him the best, and hopefully it gets better. Yeah, I just hope. It's just such a shitty situation. Sucks, yeah, it's such a shitty situation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. It's been fun. Hell yeah, man.